way too much visceral fat. And here's an easy way to get there is through time.
We are about to go live on Breakfast with Champion on Clubhouse, in case you didn't know. Welcome. Good morning. Good morning. How are you guys? Hi.
A lot of people waste time worried about the fat in other areas, but the most deadly fat is the visceral fat. Try the joy of releasing it. I want to thank you so very much, Trey. I want to thank you all. This is normally Monica's segment. She always talks about the hero journey, so I had to bring y'all a health hero that I personally knew. Trey, thank you so much. Any quick thought, because we got to close out with, because we have to turn this over in 30 seconds to Dr. Dale.
I know it's like, oh my gosh, we're at the end of the time. So listening audience, what I want to leave you with is thoughts become things. They will. So if you are ready to experience what you want, then you have to focus on it. It's the law of attraction, and it dictates that it will match your thoughts and what you feel about them. So if you don't believe in what you're saying, then you're not going to get it. So focus on amazing things and find ways, like using words like I'm in the process of, so that you can start believing it and lean into it so you can attract it. Oh my gosh, you guys, let your thoughts be amazing things, because they're going to come true.
Woohoo! Thank you guys. Now it's my distinct honor and privilege, and Dr. Dale, I owe you a minute next week. So you got it, sis. If you need an extra 5, I got you covered. I am so delighted. You guys, anytime I hear Dr. Dale's name, Dr. Dale, I actually think of Dale Carnegie. I automatically think of human relations and how to win friends and influence people. So I am so delighted to pass the mic over to Dr. Dale. Can we on mic and give her a big old woo?
Oh my Oh my goodness. Health and Wellness, you are life. I've been listening in, and I wanted to tell you my book. My book that when you were asking for books, mine's is No More Traumedy by Tina Wilson. Awesome. So I wanted to say that, and I kind of wanted to start with that. Hi, good morning, you guys. It's so rude of me, right? Like coming up here and not even saying good morning. Like, good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you, and you.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. I'm so glad to be here. Always, if you guys want to check me out, I am on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn Live today, because I have my nice Christmas hat going on. I got 2 Christmas hats going on. You guys tell me which one should I go with, the one with the little thing on top or the thing without it. It's funky. It's funky right now, but it is what it is. I got a 2 Christmas hat, and I'm like feeling myself with all of it, because December is here and now I can wear all of my Christmas gear. Hey, that rhymes. You guys, that rhymes. So, hi, you guys. Good morning. Yes, Dr. Dale here. We're going to do, it's going to be all over the place today, but always definitely taking you guys down a path of life, of you, of love, of, purpose, like all of the above, right? All of it, which is why you're here in this room, Breakfast with Champion, here on Clubhouse. Love this room, love this room. So I started with Start Seeing this book, and I want to kind of start with saying, when was the last time I know we all know we know our 5 senses, right? Hearing, touching, feel, we know all those 5 senses. Have anyone ever heard of interosection? Probably not. If you do, feel free to put it in the chat or shout it.
Go with those $15, $50 words, girl.
Stop it.
You know we don't know what that means.
Well, we gonna learn today.
Pronounce it, Dr. Dale.
We gonna learn today. You guys are hilarious. I love it. I love new words. I love learning new words and then using those words in my vocabulary. So again, I was reading along with Star's Tina book, No More Traumedy. And because I read like 2-3 books at the same time, right? So because my attention span is different. It's funny. So I know that about myself. And I'm also reading the book by The Body Keeps Score, Bessel van der Kolk. Don't ask me how to spell his name. Go look it up. Do your homework, you guys. So I'm reading both of these books, and I'm looking and hearing him speak about how it's important for you to be, how every single thing that happens to you, and to the point that that health and wellness was also highlighting earlier, that everything that your body goes through, right, it remembers it, right, at any point in given time. So that's what he's talking about. Then I go to I just asked you the question, do you know what the meaning of the word interosection is? So with that, keep all of this in mind, you guys. Keep just a point to all of this. And then I'm reading to interosection. At the end of the day, the core definition of it is looking inside of you, right? And why is it important to look inside of you? Like, how do you look inside of you? They're like, what are you talking about? There's a point. It's important to look inside of you because your emotions are inside of you. Your feelings are inside of you. Who you are is you. It's inside of you. And reading Tina, there's a section in Tina's book, chapter 7, that says that it's titled The Awakening. And it says, relationships are one of the most important tools when it comes to mind, body, and soul awakening. In a world where everything sometimes seems uncertain, one thing remains guaranteed: friendship, relationships. So with that in mind, in order for you to show up think about all of the relationships you have in your life, how you show up in all of those relationships is whether or not you know you, looking inside of you, right? So I have my notes here because I want to make sure I get this right with what. So let's go this way. Feeling free to know what you know. This is what emotional intelligence. I always grapple for some time now. Even when I did all my research and all that, I've always grappled with the definition of emotional intelligence. And because not that I hate giving the official definition, what the textbooks and all of that says, I want my definition that kind of like rings true to me. And reading both of these books, I hit it. And I finally got it, right? So what is emotional intelligence? What is EQ? I finally got it. And here it is. Feeling free to know what you know and feel what you feel without becoming overwhelmed, enraged, ashamed, or callous. Sometimes we try to slide away from how we feel or disregard emotions. You're so emotional. If you're not emotional, then you don't know what you're passionate about, right? What is showing up for you and why you're so emotional about whatever particular situation or issue. So with that definition in mind, for most people, this shows up in one of four ways or all four. One, F emotions, FEQ, which is, emotional intelligence, emotional quotient, same thing. If that is feeling free to know what you know and feel what you feel without becoming overwhelmed, enraged, ashamed, or callous. For you, is it finding a way to remain focused, calm? Is it maintaining that calm and then find in response to your thoughts, to your sounds, to your physical reactions, sensations that reminds you of your past? So is it one, finding that calm and focusing on it, right? Or two, maintaining it when all of these things that show up from the past comes to your mind? Or three, finding a way to be fully alive in the moment, be present and engage with the people around you, while you're feeling what you're feeling? Or is it not having to keep secrets from yourself? Not having to keep secrets from yourself about the way that you have managed to survive. Because sometimes we feel guilty about how we got this far because your friend didn't make it, or you're at a different pace, or they're at a different pace than you, or you're behind. It's okay to admit that you didn't get it this time. You definitely have the next time to get it. So that's where the question comes in. How are you feeling what you're feeling, knowing what you're knowing, without becoming enraged, overwhelmed, callous, etc.? We don't have much time today for that much engagement because I really want to share as well my emotional assessment link. I'm going to put it in here for you guys to take that test right before we leave. So go with me here. With what I just said, there's a scientist, neuroscientist named Joseph Ledoux or something. And he said, if you want to change your post-traumatic reactions, which is your triggers, you have your feelings, and whatever feeling that you're feeling in the moment is because of whatever, again, we just mentioned, whatever reactions of your past sensation, what sounds, smells, all of these things bring back feelings and memories, right? So when you feel what you feel, in order for you to change that, because, to Tina's book, Traumedy, they're big, small, trauma is trauma, and it is what it is, right? So how are you dealing with that, right? Because it's okay to feel it and could go through it, but your response to it is where is the ticker for us, some of us sometimes. For all of us, I'm going to say, because we're all human and we have human experiences, and human experiences involve emotions, feelings, right? So having to know so how do you change that post-traumatic reaction? Which are your triggers? And this neuroscientist said there's two ways to do it. You have to access your emotional brain. Access your emotional brain and do limbic system therapy. They're big words, but they mean a simple thing. So the emotional brain is the only way you can access that. And this is where it gets juicy for me, because I am an educator at heart, you guys. If any of you guys figure that out, I'm an educator at heart. And the way to access your emotional brain is only one way: emotional intelligence, which at the core of emotional intelligence is self-awareness. So the only way to access that is self-awareness, right? And by activating your medial prefrontal cortex, which is simply big words for the front part of your brain, the part of the brain that notices what is going on inside of you, thus allowing you to feel what you feel. This front part of your brain is right on top of your forehead, like right there in front. That is the front part of your brain, which is your prefrontal cortex, which is where your emotional brain is. And the only way to access that is through emotional intelligence, which is self-awareness. So the only way to change what you feel. So you got the emotional brain. And then the other way he said it was limbic system therapy. What is limbic system therapy? Big word again for psychotherapy, medications. How are you dealing with the traumas that you've gone through in life? Usually some people start with a doctor. Doctor refers you to a therapist, psychologist, you name it, and they put you on medications, or they give you a series of steps strategies to try. And a coach like myself, and like a lot of the coaches in here that study this, they will tell you meditation. That is limbic system therapy. Meditation, journaling, exercising. Health Wellness just highlighted that. Exercising, walking, breathing, finding ways to make sure that you are taking care of your emotional well-being. Are you taking care of your emotional well-being? This is the way to do it. Figure out where it is that your trauma, because we all have traumas. I'm sorry to tell you, in case you didn't know, you got it. And if you think that you don't, I urge you, one of the best ways to test it is find 5 people that you trust. Tina would say, know, like, and trust, that you trust, and ask them a real assessment of their experience of you. Do you really want to know how are you showing up in those relationships? What do they really think about you as a friend, right? And it's okay, because then you have areas that you probably are more stronger in than others, but you want to make sure that you're showing up authentically, honestly, right? The only way to change what you feel is by becoming aware of your inner experience. How are you experiencing yourself? And learning to befriend what is going on inside of you. Interosection. And with that, you have your friends, have them ask real assessment. Hey, am I a good friend? And give them a series of questions, ask them a series of questions about you. If you guys interested, there's a whole Google. Google is your friend, but I do have a few websites. If you guys interested, just DM me and I can share those sites so you can know. You can give them give the questions to your friends, and they have them do an assessment of you to know exactly who you are, right? Because if you saying, "Oh, I'm good, I don't need nobody," that's you saying that. What are they saying? If you care, this is if you care. If you're in this room, I'm assuming, and they say that you shouldn't assume, but if you're in this room, my expectation of you and your expectation of yourself would be wanting to be the best version of yourself. Simple as that. Doesn't get any. And if you want to be the best version of yourself, which I know that you do, you would want to ask those kind of questions, right? So I'm going to share in the link my short emotional intelligence assessment is only 10 questions. Take your time, do it. Answer those, because that's your self-assessment. So assessment of, like when you were working at your 9 to 5 and they had, like, you do a 360 evaluation. This is a 360 evaluation of you assessing yourself, your manager assessing you, right? This could be your husband, your wife, your mom, your friend that you know for the past 10, 15 years, a couple of them, doing assessments of you, right? So do that test, see where you are. And that test that you do, remember, that's self. That's only one part. You got to do the others and have other people share their experiences of you. So that way you will know where you stand as well, right? And with that being said, also, so knowing your limbic system and accessing your emotional brain, allows you to show up for yourself, right? Because remember, you are making sure that the emotions that you have, yeah, you can have them and you should have them, by all rights, but how are they showing up in the different experiences and relationships that you have? So I do have, with that being said, I want to make sure that I also want to put the link to, so I won't mention Tina's books because, of course, in case you guys didn't know, I'm showing you guys like a picture of the book because I got my book a couple days ago, and I have a chapter in this book, right? And the chapter, of course, is Emotional Intelligence, chapter 11. And without emotional intelligence, and there's strategies in there. I talk about pulse. Pulse is one of the strategies so you can understand and know where you are and where you stand, right? And with that being said, I want to make sure, does anybody want to share what came up for you during this conversation? Any eye-opening?
Jump in so fast. I'm sorry.
We're all excited.
Sorry for being silly. I'm like the proud mama right now. You have evolved so much, Dale. I'm so stinking proud of you. Like, as I listen to you, I'm always learning and always growing. And I'm just like, we got to do something. But I forgot we're doing a retreat. I'm like, Renee, put the retreat in the chat. So this can
Yes.
this can definitely be a part of the retreat. This whole emotional testing. It's going to be cool by the bonfire, by the beach in Honduras. I'm sorry, but Dale, that was beautiful. I love you, girl. I'm shutting up so other people can talk. Bye.
I love you too, Tina. Anybody else want to pop in and kind of share what came up for?
Yes, I do. Veronica Atkins. Key word right there that I love that you said was trust. That is the key word right there, trust. Because one thing I love about BWC is that we all love to grow. We all love to be better. But it's finding people that you can actually trust to give you honest information that you can actually be vulnerable with, and not people that are giving you like really malicious and pretending that they're supporting you, they don't.
True.
So I thank you so much for that, because that's what I really appreciate and respect about you, Dr. Dale, is that emotional that one session I had with you. I definitely got to do it again. Is you give your clients the energy that we can trust you, because for us to be vulnerable with someone, it's a lot of courage just to be vulnerable within itself. So I really appreciate that you give people the comfort of being vulnerable so that they can come and admit, yeah, this is an area I want to grow in, but can I trust sharing this with you? And you're going to help me to progress. You do that so well. So just sending your flowers.
Aw, 100%, 100%. I was actually talking to one of my recruiters because I work in a mental health space. Head of human resources in a mental health space. And I was talking to one of my recruiters, and kind of, she was sharing with me, because she's been with us for a little bit now, and now she's moving on to bigger, better things, a better opportunity. And she said in her like exit conversation with me was you created, meaning, she said me, I'm going to take my credit, but the team creating this space for everyone to know. She said, created a space for me to be able to make mistake and to apologize, to correct it, and then to be better, get better at it later, and stop making that same mistake. Because that's where some of the issue lies, right? Like, you have your relationships with all of the people in your life, but do you have the space to be vulnerable enough to make that mistake and to accept when you're wrong and to get rid of that ego and to walk away and be freer? Are you creating space for others to do that with you? Which is why I said it's important to do assessment of with yourself, and especially with the year ending and the holidays coming, right? This is an opportunity for you to look back at 2023, and to plummet into the future for 2024. And that involves not only writing tasks of things that you need to do. On that top of that list should be checking in with yourself. You are priority, because if you are doing it, you need to make sure that you're holding down the fort for everybody else, right? Yeah.
Quick question,
Oh,
Dale.
yeah.
For yourself, do you remember the point in your life where you said, okay, I have to make a change? And what did you do to get to the point where you are now? I'm just curious.
It was when I kept on running into the same issue with my husband. Like, he kept on, and I saw him hurting because he kept on having to repeat this same issue that he kept on having in the relationship, and I was creating that problem, and he kept saying it, and I got tired of hearing it. Because one thing about me, if you guys know anything, I tell you something, I give you an advice, I give you one chance, two chance. After three times, don't come to me with the same issue anymore. I already advised you, I've moved on, and I'm expecting you to move on and fix the issue. So he kept saying it, and I know I needed to address it. I was hurting him. I didn't want to hurt him anymore because I cared about him. This is where it came in, where I stopped having to self. Um, I was I'm the most important person in this conversation. I had to kind of take the mirror off the wall and put it on myself and give him his, his due. So it was, make want him to do better in the relationships that I was having. And that's where the shift happened for me. And this happened like a good 6, 7 years ago. And from then, of course, it took me on a path of having, doing my doctorate and all that stuff.
So mirror work. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh,
May I say something?
Yes, Miss Ginny. Yes, you may. And I hope I'm saying your name right.
Yes, you are. When you do this and you try to access the people around you that you would trust, it brings up another issue that when you look into it and you don't feel comfortable or trust people that are around you, then you have to make decisions if you realize those people are not serving you well. Is that right? So it can change your life, and you have to be ready to accept those things and deal with that person in another way. Is that right?
100%. 100%. That's why it's important that you give it to someone that is that if they give you a hard news or a hard conversation, that you're going to be okay with what you're receiving, because you're asking for feedback now. Nobody asks for feedback. Nobody wants to know, really. They only want to know the good stuff, right? But with the good stuff come gray areas, and I'm learning myself still, right? There are a lot of gray areas in this life, and you have to welcome it. And that's the only way to overcome it, is to, and that's what I tell my family now. I'm like, we gotta stop holding on to all these things that no longer serves us, right? And the only way to do that is to get all the stuff from under the rug, clean under the rug. Let's get it out in the open, say it, apologize, fix it, whatever you need to do, but get it out in the open and move on. That is the only way to heal. The only way, you guys. The only way. Anything else anybody want to pop in and say? Kind of share before we get out of here?
I just want to say this quickly. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Guinea.
You have a doctorate. You have credibility. Not everybody has that. And doing that with someone that you find out you don't trust them when you're into this. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
You gotta accept all the.
Yep.
Not just do that thing. You've got to accept all the changes. Because I did that once with a friend.
Yeah.
And
it backfired on you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big time.
Sorry, but I bet you now you know. I bet you now you've learned, and there's no way in the world you will go through that again, because it was really, I'm sure it opened your eyes to a lot of different things, and now you know how to proceed going forward. Ethan, you wanted to jump in and say something?
Yeah, just real quick. I've gone through a lot of drift over the past couple of years, is what I call it, where I was just, kind of complacent with my growth and where I'm at. Really successful, back in the last 2 years. It was, but it was discounted. Long story short, this is right on time for me, because I think I may have lost a little touch with my youngest son. He's 15. I got a 17 and an 18-year-old. But this seems like a really powerful tool to kind of touch base with him and help him with his little, what I call drift, just kind of complacent in, what he's, experiencing, and kind of a disconnect, stuff like that. So yeah, I just wanted to thank you and let you know I'm definitely going to use this today.
Oh my goodness, Ethan, you made my whole year. Like I came 2023 for this right here for you. Oh my goodness, I appreciate you sharing that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Please definitely DM me. I don't mind. I wouldn't mind having a conversation with you, kind of helping you out with that process if you're interested and open to that.
Absolutely. I was thinking about that. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. So that's it, you guys. I know it was a little heavy and a little smile here and there, but that's how it is. Some tough love. So thank you so much, you guys. And I'm passing it over. Is it Christina? Christina, is it you? Is it you?
Great morning. Yes. Great morning, Dr. Dale. And incredible segment. Oh my God, incredible segment. Thank you so much for all that you do, Dr. Dale, and for making a difference, a huge difference on the lives of many around the world. So thank you. Good morning, everybody. Great morning. This is Christina Howard, and you are in Breakfast with Champions, the Millionaire Breakfast Clubhouse. You know what? Before I go on, let's unmic. I forgot to give Dr. Dale her flowers. I gave her flowers, but let's unmic and give her a round of applause for that incredible segment.
You were good.
I had to go back for it, Dr. Dale.
I appreciate you, Christina. No, you were good. You were good. I was going to the bathroom, but then you stopped me and I came back. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad I stopped you. All right, you guys. Thank you so much, Dr. Dale. You are in Breakfast with Champions, the Millionaire Breakfast Club house, you guys. Thank you all so much for being here and for supporting this room every single day. You all are truly